Okay, welcome back. And today I'm going to take a look at this SAR9. What we have in front of you is the SAR9, a real SAR9, and an airsoft SAR9 by ISC. And I'm just going to look at how well of a job they've done, whether it's a cheap version, and by the way, it's a version 2 gas blowback. So we're going to look at how the quality of the build is and how close they came to the actual SAR9. Okay, now here we have the two guns in front of you. You can see one here and one here. And if you were just to look at these, can you tell which one is the SAR9 and which one is not? Now, you say, oh, I see a little orange here on that one. Well, orange is here on that one too. See? All right, so you've probably guessed already which one is the real SAR9, so I'm not going to go any further there. But let's take a look at the build quality, okay? So here we have the actual SAR9. All right, now I'm going to remove the magazine here, clear this bad boy. Okay, make sure we have an empty gun. Okay, this one, of course, is just the airsoft version. There's nothing in there. Now, right away, what you notice with the magazine in the gun, that the weight feels pretty close to the actual SAR. Now, I'm going to put the mag back in here. Now, this is slightly heavier, but the weight is very good. Now, you can tell through the weight that this is the actual gun. And this is just a little bit lighter, but it carries good, solid weight. I like that. It actually feels like the SAR9. Let's take a look at the subtle differences. As you see here on the airsoft version, we have SAR9 and SAR9 written right here, and you have your serial number, and you say, well, it's not on this one. Well, yes, it is. This is just, they marked it up with the white. I could do that with the actual SAR. See, it's written right there. Just take a little bit of soap, run a pass over that, and wipe it off. That'll be just like that. Okay. Take this magazine out again. Okay. So that's a subtle difference, but it's really not a difference because, like I said, this could be easily done. Just take a bar of soap, run it across there, and it'll look just like that. Now you might notice that there is a safety here, a lockout safety. And so how does that safety work on this gun? You don't see it on the airsoft version. Okay, once again, make sure that's clear. This safety pushes up, and now the trigger cannot be pulled. See? Okay. And on the airsoft version, you don't have that safety there. And of course, you can pull the trigger. So I'm going to look at the trigger pull and see how that feels. Now, we are, again, empty on the actual SAR. Okay. And I'm just going to try the trigger pull, see what it feels like. Now, this is the actual SAR. Also, you can notice here, SAR USA, although it tells you that the gun is manufactured in Turkey, right there. Now, they actually added that on the airsoft version, made in Turkey. So that's for authenticism, very good. Also, the sights are identical. These are the actual sights that are on the actual SAR9 and on the airsoft SAR9. Same sights. So very good. If you look at the back of the gun. Okay, you can just see on the actual SAR9. See the bottom there? On the airsoft version. A little difference. Okay, again, let's go back to the trigger pull. All right, so the trigger pull on the actual SAR9, a little bit of take up, a lot of take up actually. Nice clean break. Well, of course, I don't have any rounds in here, so let's do a reset right there. Okay, so there is some take up on the actual SAR. It's a nice clean, a lot of take up there. Nice clean break. And a reset right there. Okay. Now the airsoft version, wow, it's just a kind of a, it's like no take up. It just kind of breaks on you. This also has the trigger safety here too, as you can see on the actual SAR. Okay, let's try that trigger pull again. Okay, there's some take up right there, but it's a quick break. And then the reset. I think the reset's a little further out on the actual, on the airsoft version. Again, try that again. So take up, break. It like breaks before you can, like you're trying to get to that sweet spot just before it breaks, but it just goes all the way. And then it has a longer reset, much longer reset, and not quite as crisp as the actual SAR. Again, actual SAR, look at the heavy. It's a heavier spring, take up right there to hit the wall, then snap. And you have right there is the reset. All right, so as far as the trigger goes, the trigger quality is not like the actual SAR9. It doesn't even quite feel the same. Let's take a closer look at them. Yeah, I think this is a metal trigger. No, it's not. It's some kind of, it's not plastic, but it's some kind of carbonate material. This is definitely some sort of carbonate material. I do notice a little bit of difference in the triggers. If you look closely at the trigger on the SAR, the actual SAR9, let me get an angle here. All right, you see how it's smooth? It's all one piece. Well, on the airsoft version, there's like a lamination in there. You see that? And there's a kind of a separation in there. So definitely not an actual trigger that would go on a real firearm. I like the way that felt. Anyway, so the grip, you know, the appearance, it's all done very well. It really looks like an actual SAR9. The weight is good. And of course, we did look at that on the actual SAR. Doesn't have anything here, but of course it was made in Taiwan, so I wouldn't expect them to put SAR USA on it. It also has Miami, Florida, made in Turkey on the actual SAR. Other little differences we have. Right above the trigger on the actual SAR, there's like a stippling that is not present on the airsoft version. Okay. Other than that, everything else is the same. Let's take a look at the internals. Now, of course, with this being an airsoft gun, it's not going to look the same on the inside. Here's the triggering mechanism back there. But it is very well built. I like how they put these big, heavy guides on here for the airsoft version. Yeah, that's like really sturdy, built real nice. Now, of course, the actual firearm. Well, they're about the same length. I mean, they are definitely equal in length. And I'd say they're equal in width, too. Everything seems to line up. Even the slide lockout is in the right place. And let's see. All right, I notice here, of course, that's chopped off so that you can't use this on an actual firearm. There's probably other things that, even if you took all the internals out and tried to, replace it with, actual internals, for the SAR9, it probably wouldn't work, and I wouldn't even suggest doing that. But they are very close, very close. I think the lower receivers are actually the same size. I mean, seriously. Now, of course, this receiver here, which is built into the frame in the rear, doesn't have, those grooves that guide there. It's in the frame of the actual receiver. But of course, we don't expect the airsoft version to be the same internally as the actual version. Okay. Might be a question. Will the slide fit on the actual slide for the SAR9? Will it fit on the airsoft version? I'm not going to put it on all the way if it starts to go on, but no, it won't. Reason why is because these are too thick, and won't allow that groove to accept it, so it won't slide in. Okay, so you say, okay, well, will the airsoft slide fit on the actual firearm? Yeah, probably. It probably will, because it's open wider. But why would you even do something like that? Yeah, and it's loose. It's loose, and of course, that's not going to allow you to get it the whole way on. So, oh, can't do that. Okay, let's take a look at the guide springs on the uppers. Now, of course, this airsoft upper is some sort of alloy. It's actually quite a bit heavier than most airsoft pistols that I have. So I'm sure it's an aluminum. They just used more of it because it's got more weight. Of course, this is steel, so this is much heavier. You can see the guide springs are different. This is, for some airsoft blowback, and this is, kind of Glockish. That's the funny thing about the SAR9. It is kind of like a combination between a Glock and an MP, no, a Glock and a VP9 is what I would call it. It's like a married combination. Like the lower is like a VP9, and the upper is like a Glock. Okay. So we're in the house, and of course I can't shoot the SAR here, but we will shoot the airsoft version. Okay, so one thing about these magazines, I didn't put all the BBs in there right, but they're only 22 rounds, and I mean, I guess that's enough. You want to carry a couple of magazines, if you're playing with these on the field. Now, gassing this up, the nozzle's on the bottom. So let's put some gas in it. Oop. That seems to take a lot of gas. Wow. Oh, that's a lot. I didn't even fill it all the way. Okay. All right, let's see how the SAR kind of accuracy it has. Step back here. Headshot. That trigger is very light. Very accurate gun. Locks back on the last one. All right, let's shoot that one more time. Okay, again, talking about this trigger. This trigger is extremely light. And when I was pulling, I mean, it just gets to that break point like that, like boom. So, I mean, for a airsoft gun, that's okay. For an actual firearm, I would not like that. Uh, but for airsoft, it's okay that it would shoot like that. You can get used to this trigger. All right, so we're going to shoot some more for accuracy. I'm going to go for a target on the left. Now, target on the right. Step back here a little bit. And what's left on the left. Oh. It's not a lot of recoil. Fairly accurate gun. Really accurate gun. But not a whole hell of a lot of recoil. Like for instance, with say the Glock version of the gas blowback, I get a lot more kick out of that. Now this light trigger, I tell you what, you touch this trigger and it's going off. So that's one thing I'm not thrilled about. But you can get away with that in airsoft. Again, like I said, if that were a real firearm, that would be like really dangerous. It's like you touch the trigger and it's going off. Let's take a look at a couple other things. Notice the magwell, slight difference in the airsoft and the actual version. There's a groove here in the airsoft version, no groove there in the actual version, as you can see. On the bottom, we have the serial number. On the real one, at the bottom of this one, it just says caliber 6mm BB, and that's all it says there. So, what do I think about it? Well, as far as appearances go, they really made this gun look like an actual SAR, and so I'll give them an A for that. And the feel and weight of the gun, I'll give them an A for that. This gun is a really good gun for airsoft, but I don't like that trigger. So with the trigger, I'm going to give them a D, because you really touch that trigger and that gun is going off. And so I can imagine if, there could be accidents. If you're at home, the airsoft gun's loaded and somebody just touches that trigger, pow, that BB's flying across the room, and, that's not good. So, yeah, I give them a D on the trigger, maybe a D minus. But it can, for airsoft, it can pass, but I don't like that trigger. Okay. So, the SAR9 by ISC is a really good build. All in all, I give it a B plus. And the only reason I give it I think I'm going to have to give it a B. And the only reason that I'm giving it a B and not an A is because of that trigger. All right, well, I guess that wraps it up. And if you guys want to pick one of these up, I paid $165 for this. Plus, I bought an extra magazine, and then the shipping costs, blah, blah, blah. $226 for this. And I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. It shoots really well. Now, I'm going to dump a magazine. just so that you could see that, the gun does shoot out the entire 22 rounds. Okay. That's pretty good. I like it. Not a whole lot of recoil, like I said, but it's good gas efficiency. There's plenty more gas in here. I'm probably gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? While I got this video going, I'm gonna see how many magazines I can empty before it needs gas again. Okay, mag number 2. Okay, that's what, 3 altogether because I shot out that first one. So what are we calling this? This will be mag number 4, technically. Starting to get weak. Yep, not enough to blow it back. So you're going to get 4 magazines. So you're going to get 4 magazines out of 1 gas fill. And I'd say that's pretty good, for an airsoft gun. If you're getting, because I got some pistols, like the VP9 gas blowback I got, you're going to get 1 magazine out of that, and then you have to refill. This one lasted 1 fill, 4 magazine fills, and before it ran out of gas. So that's pretty good. I like that. But what about FPS? I don't have all that stuff set up. I should have thought about that before I started making this video. You're probably curious about the FPS. Well, the box says, what does it say? The box doesn't say. Maybe it does. I can read Chinese. All right, it doesn't say on the box what the FPS. I believe they said it was something like 285 to 315. All right, you guys got me. I'm going to have to do it. All right, so I'm going to have to hold this by hand here. And we'll see what we have. There was nothing went through there. 251. 250. 248. 248. 247. 247. 248. 247. 246. 248. All right, so it's consistent at least. Okay, and that's good. About 250 feet per second. 248, that's the average. Okay, so 250. That's not bad. Not bad at all, okay, for an airsoft pistol. Is this the airsoft one? Oh, yeah, it is. Huh. They feel so much alike that you really have to be sure you're holding the airsoft one and not the real one. Okay, so here's the actual one. All right, so I guess that's a wrap, everybody. My little review on the ISC SAR in comparison to the actual SAR9 and how it performs, things I like about it, things I don't like about it. All right, well, I hope that was at least entertaining for you. And don't forget to give me a little thumbs up. And why not subscribe? I do some interesting stuff. All right, everyone, have a great day.